Good morning everybody. It is lovely to be with you all today. Sid and I are here with you again this morning, and if you remember last week, Sid was trying to do something that he was finding it really hard to do. So Sid, would you like to tell everybody how you got on? He says he got on okay. I wonder if we can see a picture of what Sid has been up to. Hopefully the picture's going to come up now. Wow Sid, look at you! All on your own on that skateboard. That's amazing. What do you mean it's not fair if it's only you that does the challenge? You think everybody else should be able to do a challenge too? Okay, what kind of challenge do you think other people should do? Something to do with not giving up? Something to do with keeping going when you find something hard? Oh, that's an interesting one. You see, sometimes we have difficult choices to make, don't we? It's hard to decide whether to do something that's easy or whether to carry on and do something that's really hard, or perhaps that you even don't really want to do. I think we might need some help for this, so let's just see if we can get some help. Okay, I need a volunteer. That's going to be a problem, isn't it? I think I'm going to have to borrow somebody. Bear with me. And voila, here we have our volunteer. Thank you for volunteering.
No problem.
Now, because you volunteered, just because you volunteered, because neither of your brothers volunteered as quickly as you did, I'd like to send you away with this. It is a Whisper Mini. Okay? Bit small though, isn't it? Or you can do some things for me, and instead of having the Whisper Mini, you can have a caramel wafer, which I know you're particularly fond of. Now Joel, you don't know what I'm going to ask you to do, so do you want to just take the little mini Whisper, or do you want to do some things and have the caramel wafer?
Do some things and have the caramel wafer, please.
Oh, I'm so glad you said that, because that means I can eat that. Right, okay. I shouldn't talk with my mouth full. What I'd like you to do, first of all, is 10 star jumps. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Oh, so he's been through 10 star jumps. But you know what? I think that was a little bit easy. So what else could we have him do? How about we go back inside and you do an hour's more schoolwork? Would you do that?
Yeah, I would.
You would do that. He would do that. Okay, it's got to be harder than that. How about a sponsored silence for an hour? Now, if you know Joel well like I do, you know that that's going to be really hard. Would you do a sponsored silence for an hour?
I would if it was for a caramel wafer.
Oh, okay, so that's going to be too easy as well then. I know. Hang on a minute. Would you be prepared? Are you right with me blindfolded, aren't you?
Yep.
Would you be prepared to stick your hand in a bowl of something disgusting?
Yes.
Can you see?
No, not really.
Not really. Excellent. You come over here, look. That's it. Stand still. And I'm just going to, here's one I made earlier. Right, I'm going to let you sniff it, and I want you to tell me if you can identify any of the smells in here. You smell that? What can you smell?
I think I can smell some crisps.
Look at that. Would Joel be prepared to put his hand in that? It slops nicely. Listen to that. Can you hear it slopping?
Yeah.
Anything else you can smell in there?
That's soup.
Soup. It's not soup. Bit of all sorts in there. Right, are you ready?
Yeah.
Are you going to put your hand in here for me? Are you ready? Hand in. What does it feel like?
Weird.
Weird. Does it feel a bit disgusting?
Yeah.
Oh, look at that. It's disgusting. Honestly, I know what's in here and I won't put my hand in it. Okay, I think Joel deserves the caramel wafer for doing all of those things. Go on, just take your hand. Have a look.
What was it?
It's a bit of all sorts. Look at that.
Oh.
It's great. Thank you, Joel. Well, that's me going to have a quiet hour with Joel doing his sponsored silence for a while. I want you to think about a time when you found something really difficult to achieve, and you had to think about the different obstacles that you would have to go through in order to overcome that obstacle. Was it easy? What sorts of things would you be prepared to do in order to really, really achieve your dream? I always dreamt of being a teacher when I was younger, which is great because, as you can see, I've made it. I did what I wanted to do. But I found it really hard going away from home to university. I had to leave my mum and dad at home, and I found that really hard. And it wasn't until a term into my first year that I met some really lovely friends and was able to settle really quickly with them. And then I found it hard to leave them and go back home at Christmas. Everybody's different, and everybody has to face hurdles and things that they have to overcome in order to be able to achieve what they want to do. Our Bible story today is about a disciple who found it really hard to leave the life that he lived previously, and in the end he ended up saying no to Jesus. Have you heard of this disciple? I wonder. I'm sure you've heard of Matthew and John, who left their fishing lives and started following Jesus. They gave up the things that they had. Well, one day Jesus was teaching with his disciples when a young man came up to them and started listening. He started asking Jesus lots and lots and lots of questions. And Jesus thought that this was the sort of person who, with his thirst for knowledge, his wanting to know lots and lots and lots, would make a really, really great disciple. But Jesus also noticed something else. The clothes that disciple was wearing were more expensive than the clothes the disciples were wearing. You see, the disciples were poor. They made their money and shared everything between themselves to help them to have food and things, and the poor people, those that were in need. But this man, he was rich. He had lots of money. I wonder what Jesus thought, whether he thought that this man would be able to cope living with them in much, much harder ways, with not as much money and not as many luxury things. Can you imagine that? Going around with Jesus and his followers and not knowing where your next meal was coming from, or not knowing where you were going to sleep that night. It must have been quite a tough decision for this disciple to make. Perhaps the young man thought that he could help Jesus and his disciples by helping them with the money and supporting them in what they did. But actually Jesus asked him to do something far harder than that. Jesus told him to go home and to give away everything that he had, and then come and follow him. Wow, I bet he didn't see that one coming. Can you imagine that? Somebody saying, come with me, and you wanting it so desperately to go. But before you could do that, you had to give away everything you had to the poor. That's a really tough decision to make, isn't it? If the young man gave all his money away, he wouldn't be able to eat the food that he ate or live in the beautiful home that he lived in. He would have to get rid of all of his servants. He would have a really, really different life. And what if, in a few months' time, he decided he wanted to go back home? He wouldn't have anywhere to go. It was such a big decision. There were so many things that he would need to change that in the end, he decided not to change. And he said no to following Jesus. Sadly, that rich young man went home. He decided it was too much of a change for him. He felt embarrassed and ashamed that he couldn't do what Jesus had asked him to do. It was such a disappointment for Jesus too, because he could see the potential in this young man. But sometimes changes are so big that we feel that we can't do them on our own, and we need help with them. Let's light a candle as we think about the changes that we all face. Some of us face change coming soon, like transitioning up to secondary school. All of us have changes of different types that we have to go through, and for some of those changes we don't get a choice. We just have to get ready and be brave and go through them. Imagine though if things never changed and you always stayed the same age, in the same class at school, doing the same things for the rest of your life. Your life wouldn't be as fulfilling and as full of wonderful opportunity. What are you prepared to change in order to get those goals? I had to be prepared to move away from home in order to achieve my goals. I wonder what you're prepared to do. What might you have to give up in order to get that goal? How far are you prepared to change to become that person that you really want to be? We're going to pop our hands together and say a prayer, and if you'd like to make the prayer your own, as usual, you just need to say Amen at the end. Let's put our hands together now. Dear Lord, our lives are constantly changing. There are going to be challenging times and obstacles along the way. Please help us to overcome our worries, our anxieties and any obstacles that we face, and help us to concentrate on growing through the changes that we face. Please give us courage today and every day as we face those changes together. Amen. Well, Sid, that's the end of another worship. Do I think Joel's really going to keep quiet for an hour? We'll have to wait and see, won't we? We've set some challenges today, haven't we, Sid? Challenging people to do something hard. I wonder if anybody will let us know what they've been able to do. Maybe you're going to challenge yourself to tidy your bedroom every day, or help with the pots. Or maybe it's that you're going to challenge yourself to have a go at that particularly tricky piece of work that you don't really want to do. We'd love to hear what you've been doing. Okay, take care for now, and we will see you next time.